Or if the bomb that drops on you gets your friends and neighbors too, there'll be nobody left behind to grieve, and we will all go together when we go. What a comforting fact that is to know.
Hello and thank you for watching the John Doe Prepper channel. I am your host, John A. Whitman, and you're watching part 3 of my little winter combat gear miniseries. If you've watched parts 1 and 2 of this miniseries, you will know that I was saying part 3 was going to be about the outermost insulating layer / secondary camouflage for my winter combat setup, but that uniform still has not arrived, and they shipped it without a tracking number, so I don't really have an ETA. I mean, eBay gave me an ETA, but, you know, obviously who frickin' knows if it's actually going to show up by then. Basically, at this point, it's to the point where it could basically show up at any day, but I've already gone long enough without actually posting anything, so what I'm gonna do is, this video, part 3, is gonna be about what I was going to do for part 4, and then part 4 is going to be about that uniform whenever the heck it actually gets here. And then, once I've done that, I'll have basically covered all the different constituent parts of the setup, and then I'll probably do a part 5 where I basically put all of the different little components together, show you how it would all be put on, and then, you know, maybe have some B-roll footage of me just kind of screwing around in the woods with it all on. But, getting into the actual subject matter of this video, today I'm going to be talking about how I have decided to incorporate civilian clothing into my winter combat setup. If you've seen the camouflage effectiveness test I did on my multicam alpine oversuit, you may recall in that video that I said I was wearing my normal civilian winter clothes underneath. These are not that, and I want to make that distinction because the whole concept that I'm working with this winter combat setup is pretty much the exact opposite of how most modern civilian winter clothes work. So, my typical winter clothing setup, just for normal civilian uses, consists of a pair of, you know, heavy insulated boots, heavy insulated snow pants, and an even heavier, even more insulated big old jacket, and then just whatever gloves or mittens or beanie or balaclava or whatever I have kicking around in my little clothes cabinet for, you know, however cold it is outside. Now, the advantage of that system, of course, is you just throw all that on, and apart from the specific articles of clothing you're wearing on your hands and your head, it's pretty much universal. The jacket and the pants and the boots are all thick and warm enough that you could go out in like -20 Fahrenheit weather and be fine, and you could also go out in like 40 Fahrenheit weather and be fine, although you'd be a little bit warm. With this winter combat system, what I'm trying to do is, instead of having one big thick layer that could either be way too much and could overheat you, or could be a little bit not enough and then you'd be too cold, I want to instead have multiple thin layers that I can then either add on or shed as I need them based on both the temperature and my level of physical exertion. So to that end, I have dredged up a bunch of random articles of clothing from my dresser and my closet that I literally never wear for this winter combat setup. Starting with the innermost layer, I have these little thermals, so these really thin, kind of stretchy, form-fitting little pants and sort of long-sleeve t-shirt looking thing. These are meant both to kind of help keep heat in close to your body, but they're also meant to soak up sweat to prevent that sweat from evaporating as easily, because sweat evaporating off your body cools you down. And when you're trying to stay warm, you don't want that. There's really not much more to say about these, so I'll kind of just toss them aside and get to the other stuff. Nice thick wool socks, pretty self-explanatory. In part 2, I went over the military surplus gear I have in my setup, and I talked about how the mucklucks have basically no insulation apart from the insoles. That's what these are for. These are to actually insulate your feet and keep them warm. And of course, if it was really cold, I could just wear my normal summer socks underneath these for an additional layer. Also, not much more to talk about with those. This is just a basic, generic kind of Walmart brand. A little zipper shirt. It's pretty much completely made of fleece. From what I can tell, it's a little turtleneck, which is nice because that insulated outer uniform I plan to get also has like an insulated collar that you can do up with little snaps around your neck, if I recall correctly. So having an extra layer there will keep my neck nice and toasty. So I won't need to wear a zesty, sexy scarf for that purpose. As much as I'm sure some of you would love to see that. You know who you are, you weirdos. But anyway, this has the benefit of having all these little zipper pockets. So if there's anything that I wanted to keep inside my winter gear, kind of close to my body, either just to keep it warm for the sake of it, or maybe because I don't want it to freeze, I could do that. I don't think any of these pockets are really big enough to put like a water bottle or a canteen inside, but if they were, that would be pretty rad. Maybe I'll think about trying to incorporate something like that in this later. But for now, it's just mostly there to serve as an insulating layer to keep me warm. And finally, we have these pants. These are literally perfect for this purpose because they're basically useless for anything else. And here's why. So these pants have literally 0 pockets anywhere on them. And they're lined with this lovely, soft, sleek, silky, comfy, super warm, artificial fur all throughout the inside. So they are fantastic for keeping you warm. So fantastic at it, in fact, that I literally cannot wear these indoors. Even while just lounging around, literally sitting on my butt doing nothing, these things are so freaking hot, even in the winter, that I just cannot wear them indoors. And the complete absence of pockets also means that I can't carry my phone or my pocket knife or my flashlight with me, which I basically do all the time. So using them as just an inner layer for a winter setup for keeping myself warm is basically exactly what these are good for. They fit perfectly into that niche. I won't have all these extra unnecessary pockets adding bulk in random places. And I'll also have this very nice, comfy, super warm artificial fur. But I know this video might be a little bit, kind of a little bit dry, a little bit boring, but I thought it was worth making just to kind of prove the point that just because you're making a combat setup does not automatically mean that civilian clothes have no place in said setup. But with all that being said, I think that's just about all that's really worth saying about this. So I hope you found this video at least somewhat not boring. And thank you for watching the John Doe Prepper channel. If you liked this video, consider watching some of my other videos, or especially if you didn't like this video, consider watching some of my other videos. Most of them are probably way better than this. And whether or not you enjoyed this video, I appreciate you taking the time to watch it anyway. And I will catch you all in the next video, which will hopefully be part 4 of this series when that uniform finally gets here. Holy crap, it's been forever. Anyway, thank you for watching.
We will all go together when we go, all suffused with an incandescent glow. No one will have the endurance to collect on his insurance. Lloyds of London will be loaded when they go.